everybody. Welcome to my new channel. I'm S.A. Baz Collins. I am a podcaster, an author, a classically trained singer. And since I've been a child, I have been very opinionated. I've sat by and watched the dialogues going on in the internet, mostly on YouTube. I'm not much of a TikToker, although I may venture into that if it looks like it's going to hang around. I may just wait to see what comes along in its place if it doesn't get resolved. And I have thoughts on what that whole fiasco was with it being banned for the 12 or 9 hours that it was banned. But I thought I'd start this channel because I thought I wanted to have a place where I could voice some of my thoughts. And this is really meant to be kind of a stream of consciousness kind of thing where I will bring a topic to my channel. I don't want to do what is like influencing. I'd rather just let's have a conversation, me, expounding on a given topic, and then you going away and thinking about it, maybe coming back and commenting it. I'd rather you. Sorry, I keep looking at my cat. She's about to go into my closet. I'll be right back. And I'm back. I want to bring topics to you that I think are pertinent and what's going on, but I want to do them more in a broader sense. I'm not a philosopher, but I have thoughts, and they're based upon my own experiences, obviously, and things that I've observed amongst my friends, amongst other professionals I've worked with, amongst the corporate media and the independent media that you find here on YouTube and other platforms. But I wanted to have a space to say this stuff. And as a queer man of a certain generation, I don't want to say the letter because that often is associated with this shit for brains. I'd rather kind of have this place for me to just expound on stuff and then give you the sources down in the description below and allow you to do your own digging. My mom always impressed upon her children that you're to use your brain. Don't just take what people tell you as rote. That you really should reason what's being said to you, what's being given to you, filter it through your own experiences, filter it through things you've learned elsewhere, and then discern for yourself what's applicable and what isn't. I think too many people want to take the shortcut. And I'll use a personal story to kind of explain it to you. I'm married, and I've been in a relationship with my husband. We just passed our 30th anniversary. We have children, grandchildren, and my granddaughter at one point, who was living with us because my daughter was in school and my husband and I relocated to the Bay Area so we could be there to help support her because she was a single mom with our granddaughter. And one day, I think my granddaughter was like 11, maybe 12 at the time. She came into our room as she usually did and wanted to hang out with her grandpas and kind of watch TV and just generally have a conversation. And she noticed that I had a piano keyboard sitting in the corner of the room. Now she knew I had it, but it was the first time she showed any interest in it. And she asked me if it'd be okay if she borrowed it. And I said, sure, I'll go help you plug it into your laptop and, you can do what you want with it. And so I did. I carried it in there. I hooked it up to her laptop. I made sure she was able to download an application to allow her to play and, that kind of thing and record it and do whatever she wanted to do. And I went out and went about my day, whatever I was doing at the time. And I came back, I don't know, about an hour or so later. And I found her sitting in the room on her bed, but not at her desk with the keyboard anymore. The keyboard was just sitting there next to her closed laptop. And I said, oh, how did it go? What did you do? Did you record something? I'd like to hear it, because, she could have been a child prodigy. I had no idea, and I knew that at her school, that she had been exposed to playing a lot of different instruments in one of their music classes. So, she could have actually had some background in this through her school. Um, but she kind of sat there, kind of dejected. And I said, "Well, what's the matter?" And she said, "Well, I just thought it would be easier." And I looked at her and said, "Well, what do you mean by easier?" She goes, "Well, you see all those people online, and they just pick up these instruments and they play them, and they make good music." And I said, "Well," I said, "did it ever occur to you that you had to put in the time and the practice, that those what you're not seeing on these videos?" Now, mind you, she's 11, 12. That what you see in these videos are the culmination, the journey of their being a musician. And she goes, "Yeah, I know, but I just thought it was still easier." And I plugged that away in the back of my mind, that situation, because I think this is endemic to what, as a society, we've become with what we call smartphones. And we're relying too much on the technology to remember things for us, fully with the ignorance in play that if this goes away, what are you going to do? And I think a lot of what current generations, and I'm talking the children here, as Billy Porter likes to say, um, that I think the children pretty much have come to rely on the tech way too much. And we've all heard those stories about, there's all this technology stuff about how it's not good for their mental health and blah, 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 blah. I'm not here to expound on that. I think you already have been exposed to that. You know a bit about it. You can do your digging on your own. What I am kind of wanting to bring up about it is I think that it promotes what I think is the greatest sin in society today, and that is apathy. And we've become a society of apathetic people who find it much more comforting to find others who think like us, who talk like us, who look like us, who love like us, rather than leaning into more meaningful relationships or conversations. I think the smartphone and smart tablets and computers and AI and all this other stuff has become a convenient excuse to not use, as Hercule Poirot used to say, the little gray cells. I think people tend to think that they are reasoning and thinking, but when you look at the TikToks and you look at a lot of what the dialogue is in these ongoing stitch ups and stuff online, it's a lot of knee jerk emotive reactions and not much reasoning is there behind it. And that's why I wanted to start this channel. I sat for a long time with it. I've gone back and forth with it. Um, and the reason why is I know when I start something like this, I tend to go all in. And in this current climate of political discourse where people are being threatened, people are being scolded into silence, threatened with long term jail sentences, threatened with deportations, I'm all aware of what risk I'm putting on the line here. I get it. But I also know that this is kind of what I was born to do. And I've sat out for far too long. In that, I don't want to put my loved ones, my husband, grandchildren, children, my immediate family, I don't want to put them in any danger by things that I may say. So, my approach to bringing you these topics is literally for you to do the work. Unlike Tucker Carlson, who says he's only asking questions. No, he's not. He's doing propagandist work that is literally copied from Russian playbook. Um, I want to pose questions that actually try to engage you into looking into it further and not just go with hearsay from other people. Look up reputable sources. And I know you all know what that means. You went to school, you know when your English teacher said to cite your sources, you know what all of that means. So don't feign ignorance. Do the work. I'm all for you taking time and watching cat videos and dog videos and Fail Army. I'm a big fan of Fail Army. You know, it's one of my favorite things in the world is to laugh at people doing stupid shit. But there's a time and a place for that. Think of it like in the old days, my generation and before, where you'd have your favorite TV show, but it was only on once a week for a certain hour, and you had to have your ass on the ground or in the chair or on the sofa to watch it. There was no VCR. There was no, you had to be present for that moment to watch it and endure and to take it in and to enjoy it. I think we should treat social media the same way. I think this constant scrolling, this constant diving down rabbit holes that you have no business being down because they're innocuous, they're stupid, they're ludicrous. I think it's just bullshit. And I think as a people, we need to really start to discern far more than we are now. In coming posts, I will be approaching topics like the farmers who are suddenly FAFOing their lives, fucking around with Trump and authoritarianism, and then finding out, whoops, I'm in the crosshairs. And gee, now it affects me. So now I give a damn. I will be diving into things like that. I will be diving into geopolitics and how the birth rates in the world are declining drastically. And the world that we knew up into COVID, honey, those times are over. COVID was a big signal, a call to action to pay the fuck attention. And I think that that's one of the things I want to bring to your attention is to say, hey, heads up. What? Do with it what you will, but you can't say somebody didn't say heads up. I'm going to do my level best to do that. My goal is to do one of these. I'm going to start 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. This is Wednesday that I'm recording this, so I'll record 2 more. This week, I will release them the same day as I record them, and I will have the weekends off to do more research and find things that I may find interesting. I don't want to take up a ton of your time. I only want to take 15, 20 minutes tops, maybe a bit longer if it's a tougher or more complex subject matter that I want to cover. I will have videos that I will pop in and react to that I think are along the lines of what I've been taking in and what I've been consuming. Know that I don't watch corporate media for the sake of corporate media. I consume news and journalism very widely around the world. So I'm not in the foxhole. I'm not in the MSNBC hole. I do watch a couple of shows on MSNBC, full disclosure, but I also am a big fan of Mehdi Hassan and Zateo. I am a contributor as far as, you know, I am a subscriber. So I put my money where my mouth is when it comes to things like that. I am also a big proponent of Ground News, and I subscribe to their service as well. I think it's a worthwhile effort. And I encourage you to do things likewise. I also think that people need to step out of their comfort zone and lean into difficult discussions. And don't go into it thinking that you're 100% right. Always save space for what you've gotten wrong, and then admit to it when that evidence comes to you, or you become enlightened with it and go, oh, that's something I haven't considered. Use this, people. Use this. Or as Rosie O'Donnell says, use your head.
That's that lump 3 feet above our ass, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, that lump 3 feet above your ass. You may be wondering why I decided to call it Qwhearsay. Well, obviously, I'm a queer man. And I liked the idea of it being hearsay because it's things that I'm saying to you, but I'm acknowledging I'm not an expert. So in my case, it is hearsay, but the idea is I'm giving you things that I think are interesting, that are timely, and that are a big enough topic that I think they'll still be evergreen down the road, because these are going to be social, economic, geopolitical, social topics that I just think are very interesting. And with my long life of being both an entertainer and working as a civil servant, working in the financial services industry as a systems engineer, I have quite a bit of hands in many, many pots throughout my life that I have seen a lot from different aspects. And so I just wanted to have a place to share that with you and to engage you, and hope that as this channel progresses, we really start to hone our reasoning skills. And I'm going to do my level best to find those channels that I think are worthy of your time and highlight them as I discuss some of these topics. So that's it for this first episode. I hope you'll join me on this journey. And with each episode, I kind of want to do this thing that Steve Jobs used to do back in the day when he did his Apple thing. One more thing.
There is one more thing. There is one more thing.
Wait a minute, there is one more thing I forgot about.
But we do have one more thing. But there is one last thing.
There is one more thing.
So this is just something I think is kind of silly and fun, but I kind of want to throw one last topic in that I think is okay, what's going on here kind of thing, the things that make you go kind of thing. This time around, I want to highlight something that has been just nagging the shit out of me when I'm driving around town, either taking my husband to one of his appointments or going shopping or what have you. What the hell is up with these silly putty colored cars?
So we're gonna do that. Car color that looks like clay. Do you know what I'm talking about? This one, this one, this one, this one. The car color is like that. Mine's like a light blue. And it's still, but it looks different, right? What's going on? Oh, this growing trend of body colors. Yeah, exactly. That. Even kind of, yeah, for sure that. And also somewhat that. Though interestingly, I think they get less weird in certain colors. The quality of this color doesn't look strange to me in yellow. It doesn't look strange to me in white or black, of course. It is the same though. Like a white car feels like this, but it doesn't feel weird. But this feels on the edge of weird, and this feels entirely weird. Like something about this makes me feel like I can like take my hand and like put it into the car and then lift out the car and then make a small man with it. It's shiny. It's not matte. That's different, but it's not something. So what is it? It's called gloss. Just basic gloss colors. The next comment, no metallic flake. So it's just basic gloss colors with no metallic flake. No pearl, no nothing. What is metallic flake? Metallic paint, which is also called metal flake or polychromatic, that's not the same, is the type of paint that's most common on new automobiles, but also used for other purposes. I posted this a few weeks ago. The growing trend of flat gray cars started with Nardo Gray by Audi. All right, should have gone to the second comment. This is 3 years ago, by the way. Nardo Gray. Audi's classic gray color. Nardo, love that. This is also that. And then this, but this isn't. This is not, this is regular. Whatever's going on with that car is not going on with Nardo. They called it Nardo. That's not my fault. What we're saying here is that this all started with Nardo. So we're going to call these colors Nardos, and that's on them. They did that. But just like, show me a car. Like, show me Honda Civics. These, there is a, that's Nards. This one's Nards, but this one's not Nards. And this one is red, and red can't be Nards. I don't know why, but red can't be Nards. Now red can have flake in it. Like, so this obviously has flake. This is like shiny and it looks fancy. This is on the edge of Nards. This is Nards. Is it Nards? Or is that not Nards? Is this Nards? That's not Nards. Definitely not Nards. See, if that didn't have the flake in it, see, I'm using the terminology now. If that didn't have the sparklies, the literal glitter in it, it would look like Nardo, but it's not.
When did we go? I mean, I get maybe it's a reflection of the times because things are pretty fucking dour, and we may be on the verge of economic collapse, especially with, you know, Muskrat, or as I've heard him be called, Lone Scum. If you rearrange his letters, you end up with Lone Scum. That, you know, with him involved in digging into everything, and we don't know what it is that he has his hands on exactly, and none of us voted for this. Um, I think that though these colored cars are really emblematic kind of how we may be feeling, and maybe that's why they're popular, but I just think they're ugly. They're ugly fucking colors. Am I the only person who thinks this? I mean, because I like cars to have a bit of pizzazz, a bit of panache, but these muted colored cars that look like, when we were kids, we would have this stuff called silly putty, and it would be like this flat beigey gray almost kind of color when you first got it and you took it out of the little container that it came in. But you would often use it to put on comic books, and you know, it would pull the ink, some of the ink off, so you'd have a picture of it on the silly putty and stuff. So it was kind of an interesting thing. And after a while, with so many colors that you'd rework it and match it all back up again, it would start to change color, be these weird ass flat colors that had the base of this beige gray thing underneath it. So it was always very muted. And that's why I call them silly putty cars, because it just seems like we didn't really buy enough pigment to make the car that real color, that we kind of shortchanged it, or we didn't want to invest in a real color. And I know they're real colors, I get it, but I mean, they're just flat. They're boring. What the hell? So that's my one thing this time around. What the hell is up with these silly putty cars? Do you have a color silly putty car? Why did you buy it? I'd like to know, because I just don't get it. I do not get it. I'm not saying it has to be a metallic finish or some kind of weird ass thing. I'm just saying richer color would be nice. It's nice when we have some strong colors in our life. I mean, they don't have to be glaring. They don't have to be, you know, vibrant or neon, but you know, I just don't get these flat colored cars. It just is weird. It's very weird to me. And why you would want one is another thing that I just don't get. So maybe explain that to me, because that part of it just makes me go, what? What are we doing here? Anyways, that's it for this first time around. I will be sharing more of my own personal past to give you guys an idea of what filter I'm moving through. I am big about writing about perceptions. My stories that I've written, I'm published in 9 Star Press, and I have a couple of independent books that are out. I will list them somewhere here. I tend to write about perceptions because I think we as people operate using them all the time for every decision we make, but we don't give our perceptions their due. And I think that that's one of the things that I find the most fascinating about humans. And I really like diving into that. So a lot of what I bring you will be perception driven in some way or shape or form. So keep that in mind. And like I said, I'm not an expert. I will fully admit if I get something wrong, if I'm off base. But at the same time, until I get that information, or until I have credible, and this is it, if you bring something in the comments coming at me, cite your sources. I want to know where you got that. Okay. And Wikipedia is not a source. Wikipedia is a jumping off point. You can go to a Wikipedia page, but you go down to the bottom where they have all the citations and you start there. That's where you pull from. So just putting it out there, do the work. I'm going to be like a math teacher, and I was terrible at math, but I'm going to be like a math teacher. Show your work. I want to see the work. So don't just come at me with opinions and a bunch of echo chamber bullshit, because I'm just going to go, not interested. Move it along. I have a very thick skin. I worked in classical opera. I know what being precise is all about, and being prepared and having your complete work ready to go, because others are depending upon you having that ready to go. So I bring that level of detail to what I want to bring to you. Things I've been mulling over for a long time before I've decided to speak on them. I used to rush in full thrust, just all in, up in your grill. My husband in the last 30 years has taught me the value of waiting and watching. And I do it far more than I used to. So it's one of the greatest gifts he ever gave me. And I cherish it because it has taught me a lot. Sometimes the people that drive you nuts is not to confront them, because if you just let them go, often they will hang themselves. And I learned that with being with him. And that is something I have come to value quite a bit. So that's it for this time around. Hopefully you'll find what I'm doing interesting. If not, that's okay too. Like, comment, subscribe, tell others what I'm doing over here. Again, it's stream of consciousness. I do write down some notes, but I am not going to follow things, bullet point by bullet point. It will be free flowing to a degree. I just have things that I write down as topics, or topics themselves with some bulleted detail points of videos that I may bring up and bring to your attention. So that's it. I'm in 25 minutes now. So I just wanted to say thank you for at least taking time out of your day to watch this, and maybe we can put something together here. All right. Take care. Bye.
Oh, I keep forgetting, darling. You're all grown up now. You don't need me anymore. Nobody needs me anymore. It's one of the saddest things. How do you turn her off?